morning, CamperVan-K. How are you doing? I hope everyone's alright anyway. Making their way through this madness and waiting for the next episode to start. I am anyway. I'm thinking the reason why I haven't been on lately is I've been too wrapped up in everything else trying to get everything going. I've also been a little bit down of late, and I don't want to be that way, but I feel the spring's coming, so it's changing my attitude. But over Christmas I was ill, and it's been hard to recover from that. It's been quite a few weeks now. I think it lasted about 6 to 8 weeks until it finally went away, and there's hardly any coughing now, so that's good. My mum always used to say, it's not the coffin that carries you off, it's the coffin they carry you off in. Anyway, regardless. I just caught a video this morning by Vernon. Does she have a point, it says. Okay, it's not the topic I really wanted to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. It's about these women, especially the one who he's talking about online, and he's showing her in the video. I'll put the link below. What happens is that loads of women now, the younger women, are complaining that they want to stop work and have a family, have a traditional family. But most women who are thinking about having that don't want to have a family and be happy for the man who comes home from work to provide them that lifestyle. That's what he's going out to work for. What they want to do is sit at home and do their nails, chat with their friends, and they think it's an easy lifestyle, but it's not. What you need to do is keep the house clean, cook, bake, make sure the kids are educated properly. It's not easy work, and it's not to say that I haven't done it. I haven't had that opportunity, even though I wanted it. I know it's too late for me to have that now, but what can I say? I've had friends who've had it, and it's been hard to keep friends with them while they were in that lifestyle, because I was the single woman all the way through. It's not what they want. They want to have their children, have their homes, and then what they do is they make up a network of friends. They make friends with their mums of their children, who, you know what I mean. So I'm not, how can I say this? I do feel sad that I never had that life. I never had that opportunity. I thought I was going to have it, and I was convinced I was going to have it when I left school, because my dream was to be an architect. And I drew, at the time, I don't know, about 11, 12 years old, I used to draw plans of houses. And they were good ones, from what I can remember. My dad said they were good. And he was a builder. He made flat roofs of the 60s. And that was quite a lucrative business to be in at the time. So he knew lots and lots of builders. And as a knock-on effect, he probably knew the architects too, or the people who drew up the plans for what he needed. Okay, because you need plans in order to make sure that the measurements are all right, and where to do it, and what building to do it on, structure, weights and measures and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I was discouraged by both my parents for that, and they had the mindset, and you can't blame them, because that was the mindset of the time, that I didn't need an education and I would be going out to work for a minimum amount of time, because I would get married and have children and have, this lifestyle that they're all talking about and wanting and craving. But it didn't plan out like that. It didn't. I did meet a man, and he didn't want to get married, so I was with him for 6 years, I think. 1984, 1983 to 1989. So about 6 years. He didn't want to get married, and I used to talk to his mum and say, why doesn't he want to marry me? I was really crying down the road to her in my 20-year-old self. Whatever. And she said to me, she advised me she advised me about her son to either leave him and he'll beg you to come back, or get pregnant. Well, I chose the former. I left him. He didn't beg me to come back. He cried when I was leaving him, and I remember him. It was awful. As I'd packed, I was ready to go, and I was just clearing up after me, and he sat down on the sofa and he looked up at me and he said, please don't go. He said, I'll marry you if you want. That was my proposal. And I looked at him and I thought, oh, I feel so sick. I felt that surge of sickness inside me. And I thought, is that the way? That's not what I want. I don't want you to want to have to marry. I wanted him to want me, to love me enough to think, I don't want to lose this woman. I mean, I wasn't a horrible person. I didn't steal his money. I didn't stop him from doing things he wanted to do. And I used to go bike riding with him, and I hated that. And camping. And this was after being in the TA and having really horrible camping trips. In the rain and the cold and the wind. And I used to go camping with him leisurely. Anyway, yeah, the things you do when you're a child, eh? I did everything to make him happy. And then I wasn't so much of an... what can I say? Now I speak my mind, and I don't care what people think. I think, oh, sod you, you know, this is my life. I'm not going to pander to your will. And so that's the way I am now. That's the way life's made me. But then I used to be maybe malleable, subservient, you know, do things for him and make him happy. Like a typical 80s girl. Not a Madonna type person, but more of a maybe a Sheena Easton type person. I don't know. But that's the way I thought it was supposed to be. Looking back, I know that I should not have lived with him. I bought a house with him, a little cottage in Oxfordshire, and it was a beautiful little thing. And I know, it's... Oh, I was a secretary at the time, and I think I was earning about £8,000. Something like that. I can't remember. I know it was a third of what he was earning, and I was still paying half of all the bills and everything. Everything I was paying half for, and yet I was earning a third of what he was earning, and it was hard because I kept thinking, well, why am I doing this anyway? I left him in the end, and he didn't ask me to come back. He got married to somebody else 6 months later, and I was really gutted. I thought, why did he marry her and not me? And I couldn't figure it out. Now I know. Age, the wisdom of age, it really does tick a few boxes. And then, you know, I met another man, and he was everything that the first man wasn't. He was a go-getter, he was strong, he was confident, he was... he still didn't want to get married, and I gave up a really good job that paid well, even though it was 8,000 I think around at the time. I can't remember how much I paid. Should have kept all my pay slips. He's the one who went off to the first Gulf War, and most of the people at the time that I knew were getting married before they went off to war, but this one didn't. This one didn't marry him, and I thought, what's wrong with me? Why don't you want to marry me? And I gave up everything in my life in Oxfordshire to go and live in Colchester with him in this tiny little flat, which was nice. But why didn't he want to marry me? Again, I was with him for about 5 years. And then, because I found out that he kept on having affairs with every girl that he met, I thought, I can't do this. I can't do it. It was breaking my heart. I thought I was when he went away off to war, I thought if he meets somebody out there and, you know, fair enough, you know, he's not with me and he's away for a long time, then okay, but just leave it there. But as soon as he came back home, I expected him to be faithful to me, but he wasn't. And when I look at his character now, I could know that he never could be that way. It was just his character. And he struggled with that. And I could see that he wasn't that confident. Now I look at it and I think, no, he was scared of something. I don't know whether it was scared of me or not. I don't know. Maybe. But again, I did everything he wanted to. I stayed at home while he went off out to the pub and off out to all these officers' mess do's that were, he didn't tell me about. He just took another bloody girl to him. And I didn't know at the time, and yet it dawned on me after a while. And then when he went off to the Gulf, I thought, okay, I'll go and live with my brother because I can't afford this bloody flat on my own, which he never paid for while he went off, even though he got loads of money. I'm a fool. I really am a fool. I was a fool. I am a fool now, I guess. I'm just trying to tell you that, you know, the lifestyle that girl is yearning for, I yearned for, but in a different way. I was prepared to do all the work. I was prepared to have the children. I was looking after the house while I was working, while these guys didn't. Anyway, just defending the women who want that lifestyle but can't get it because they're expected to go out to work. And there is another side to the tale. I didn't... Yeah, as soon as I left him, he went off to the Gulf and I lived with my brother. And my brother was struggling at the time. So I helped him financially. I bought him food all the time because, loads of things happened there. And I helped him get through a hard patch. Anyway, it wasn't ideal living the way I lived. I was in the smallest room in the house, in a shared house. There was 4 of us in there. And it was like being a student, but without having the benefit of an education that you're going to, which is what I wanted. And then when he came back from the Gulf War and I thought, this man isn't going to marry me, and I don't really want to go and live with him again until I do. So he just kept going on like that for a year. He kept visiting me in this one bedroom. I had a tiny little bedroom, and I used to go off to the officer's mess to be with him. But it was horrible. It wasn't pleasant at all. Yeah, when I first met him, I used to drive from Oxfordshire, drive down the M40, on the M25, and then up the A12. Horrible journey. But that's what I used to do every other weekend. And then I decided, I said no more. I asked him, he gave me an engagement ring, which was a thing from, I think it was Ancient Wisdom. And it was like a little silver band, and it cost £17. And you think about all these girls who want £25,000 rings, diamonds. I didn't want that. I didn't want to drain his finances. I was okay with that. You know, that was me. I didn't want for big things. I didn't want to spend money. I just wanted a happy life with kids, family, traditional thing. That's all I wanted. But that engagement lasted too long. And I know now why. Because every year that you're with a woman is a year wasted in her eyes. And the thing is, the reason why that is because she has a finite amount of eggs inside her in her womb. A man can carry on procreating until he dies. Till the day he dies. Okay. But a woman can't do that. She's got until the age of about 35. Unless they have like hormonal treatment. Well, that's bloody expensive. The thing is, every month that goes by, she's lost another egg. And that's what makes her cry. That's what makes her yearn. That's what makes her sad. And for every year past the first year that you're with a woman, that's a year too late. You need to, if you really want to be with her and you love her, then you need to make the commitment at least a year after you've met her. But if you don't want to pay out for an expensive wedding, then put your foot down. Don't be weak about it. Just say, no, let's have a small affair. This is what we can afford. This is what we'll do. And it's not about a party. It's not about being the centre of attention. It's about gathering people that you love around you to witness the merging of your families. But people have lost sight of that, just like they've lost sight of Christmas. It's a family affair. It's meant to be for the family to reconnect, enjoy, find some happiness together. Gift giving is not about the expense. It's about the thought that goes behind it. But again, people have been taught to think about the money. The want. I want this. Give me this. It's like when you're children, you say, what do you want for Christmas? Oh, I'll have an Xbox. You don't seem to realise the parents have to go into debt to get that. And yet the parents just said, no. What would you like from Santa? Don't even ask them. You should know your kids. You should know what they will want. Anyway, I haven't got kids, so I can't say. I've got no right to say anything. But then it doesn't stop Super Nanny, does it? She's not got any children. And yet she's a Super Nanny. Anyway, going back to this thing again. So I spent, I think, about 8 years on my own. I bought my own flat. I had my own job. It was like a professional temp in London. And I really thoroughly enjoyed that time in my life. I went out to parties. I went out to clubs. I met people who were shallow and didn't want to have the conversations that I wanted to have. And I was a creative kind. I was into writing, I was into painting and drawing and being quiet and observing, that sort of thing. But the people I met were loud and abrasive and trying to be big and me. And I thought, I don't want this. So I went into my shell. I worked and I went home to my little flat, which I loved. And then I got lonely and I started yearning. I thought, these years are going by and I'm not meeting anybody that I really want to be with. Even in the jobs. I used to sit there and counsel bloody CEOs pouring out their troubles to me. I thought I should be being paid for this. Because I could see something that made, the advice that I gave them, which they wanted, they asked for, seemed to make them happy. So I went to church one day because I always, had this belief in God, a creator. At the time it was God. I believed in a man in the sky and I kept talking to him every day, prayed every night and every morning. And then I met a man who was really, really good, Manny. And he taught me a lot about God. Anyway, I went to church one Easter and I prayed, I said. And I gave him a list of attributes I wanted in this man that I found ideal. This is what I want. You keep telling me to ask for what I want. So I did. And I walked back from that church thinking about this ideal man that I wanted in my life. And I felt this surge of excitement go through me as I was walking back down that Denmark Road in Carshalton. And I felt so happy. I was walking along that road, and it's as though I was walking on a cloud. It was so good, such a nice feeling. The sunshine was out, the spring flowers were there, and it was lovely. And I was going back to my little flat, and I opened the door and I sat in there and I thought, this is nice. And I used to sit in that little flat and look at the tree. There was a massive oak tree at the front out the window. And I liked watching it change with the seasons. And any time the sun came through, it had like a dappled light on the floor around my flat. And I used to like watching that for hours, for as long as the shade would last, the shadow of the tree would last in my vision. And it was just such a pleasant feeling inside. It made me feel peaceful. And I just made a cup of tea, sat down on my IKEA sofa, and I had this tiny little portable TV, which I didn't care about. I didn't really watch very much on it. It's to write all the time and read. And then I left it. I didn't think any more about it. And I went back to work. And then that was, I think, in the March or April, whichever it was at that time, 1999. And just after that, I started communicating with a guy online, with members of this writing group. We started throwing banter back and forth, and then showing pictures of where we lived, and he was showing me pictures of, up in Scotland. It was lovely, and I felt, oh, that's really nice. I felt interested. And then he said, I'm coming down to London, can I come and see you? And we arranged to meet, and he stayed for a week. And all the time he was with me, I felt so happy. I thought, this is the man. This is the one that ticks all those boxes that I thought about in Easter, that I prayed for. He is the person. And I was so blinded. And I fell in love. My heart just went out to him, and I couldn't see the signs at the time. But looking back now, I look at it and I think, why didn't you see it? Why didn't you see it? And they always say, be careful what you ask for. And I bloody well should have been. Because he, again, didn't have the confidence that I was craving for. I was asking for a confident man who knew his shit. Just... He ticked all the boxes in my mind. And then when he went back, not long after, I got this call from a girl who said he was in a relationship with him and he'd fallen in love with me, and she was so upset. And I thought, who's this girl? How did you get my number? And she was telling me that they had a loose relationship, and she was a little bit older than him. So was I a bit. I've always been a bit older than the men I've been out with. No, she kind of like put a downer on it, and I felt crushed. And I thought, no. And then he phoned me up soon after in a panic, knowing that she'd called me, and begged me and begged me and begged me, please don't, give me another chance. And I thought, why didn't you tell me? Why keep this a secret? And he said, because I didn't know, and we were just. I thought, oh God, all right. So I gave him another chance. I should have said no then. But no, we carried on, and then we arranged to live together. So I sold my flat, and my flat in London got an awful lot more money than his flat in Dundee did. I can assure you of that. And then when I went up there to live with him, he started spending all my money. I thought, what's going on here? We looked around at a house that we could buy, and there were several I liked, and I even liked some land I wanted to buy this plot of land that I saw, 75 acres for 95 grand in Blairgowrie. Oh, how beautiful it was. Really nice, big, long. It was divided up into fields, and at the top there was this barn that was broken down, but it was a stone barn, so it was solid. We could have renovated that. But he said, I don't want to go to work and then come back and work and then go to work and go to work, come back and work. So I said, but look at the potential of it. You couldn't see that. So we said no to it. I was really sad about that. So we ended up buying this little bungalow with hardly any garden, and I love my garden. I love growing things, I love growing vegetables, I love growing beautiful flowers. And we had 8 years, and still he didn't want to marry me. And in the end, we just grew apart. That crushed me too, and I thought, no, I can't carry on like this. And I had a really painful medical situation. So I got that sorted, and then soon after I made friends up there. Really, really nice friends. But she died, really sadly. And I had some really good jobs as well. I worked for the university, Dundee. Oh, I am sad. But then, that was my last relationship. And I thought, I don't want another relationship. If this is what it's going to be like, I'll just live on my own. I felt I was doing much, much better in my flat in Colchester than I ever was when I was in a relationship with anybody. And I thought, I don't want to come back to this if this is what it's going to be, because I was yearning constantly for something I couldn't have. And I wasn't going to force them into it. I wanted them to love me and want me for who I was. And the older I got, the more into my own character I got, and the more confident in my own skin I was. And especially when I lived on my own. Anyway, I just went through a whole load of stuff after leaving him. He got his own house. We divided the money equally. Stupidly. The solicitor kept saying to me, I can get you your percentage back. I thought, no, I just want an easy separation. So all the money I piled into that disappeared. And I couldn't get a house back in London. I couldn't get a home back in London. The prices had gone up so much. So I couldn't go back to where I wanted to go. So I went and stayed with my dad. And at that time, that was a transition period for me, because I was marking time, which is marching on the spot really. And thinking about this ideal, that this life that women have been convinced they're going to have. This, marry, have children, have a house and home, and then live happily ever after. And we are convinced of that. But in this society today, you can't have that. Unless the man has got a really bloody good job. And you need 2 salaries to bring in order to support the family that you want. And I know they've got family allowance, and you've got all these incentives from the government to actually support your family. And at the time, I think in the 80s, there was a lot of girls being encouraged to have babies, and they could get a flat from the council. And I wasn't really into that. I didn't want that. I wanted a man. I wanted a man to be with me and share it with me, share the experiences, the memories, build the memories, that sort of thing. But that's my story. I do maybe sound a little bit bitter, but it is. When you look back on a life like that, and you're convinced that you're going to have a life. I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for me. I'm just trying to help you understand that that life that these girls want, it's not, from their point of view, yeah, they are convinced that they're going to have it, but they seem to think that it's sitting at home painting your nails and doing your hair. It's not. It's a hard life bringing up children, stable children, especially in this day and age. You have to homeschool them, and if you're not homeschooling them right now, then you're an idiot, because they're really being convinced to change their attitudes and their minds and their bodies, and it's so sad what's going on. Really, really, I just want to cry for them, because they don't realise what's going on. It's so sad. Anyway, yeah, so these girls have been convinced that this is the lifestyle they want. It's not all ideal. Any path that you walk in life, it's up to you to make it. And I know that when I was on my own, I was able to make my own life. When I was with these men, I seemed to merge into them and do what they wanted to do. And that's obviously not what they wanted. I don't know what I did wrong in their eyes. I don't know. But I know there was something about the last relationship I had that just wasn't going to fulfill him anyway. Now I'm living like this on my own because of circumstances. Not because I planned it, not because I wanted it. It's not something that I had this ideal in my head, oh, I'm going to go and live in a van off grid. You know, it's just life gets in the way sometimes. And when you are asking a man to support you, you have to be able to provide for him. Make him feel happy when he comes home. Make him feel as though his day at work has been worth it for the family he's coming home to. I've been at work all day, having all this stress, all this tension, all these arguments with these people, trying to get these projects done, or even physical labour, you know, going out there and just doing a boring task in order to help that woman at home and his children be happy. So you have to appreciate that. You have to admire that. You have to know that these roles that you play are to balance out each other. You know, when a man does allow a woman to be in that role, she shines. You know, if she is not selfish, that's the thing. She has to not be selfish. She has to not be into her own ego. There are clues everywhere. Anyway, this is the reason why I want to talk about this, because I've seen quite a lot of it recently, and that's just popped up on my radar, and I just wanted to say about it. And the reason why I haven't been doing any videos is because I've been ill. I've been trying to get this, you know, business going, and it is difficult. It's hard, and when you kind of like think, oh, what can I talk about? Especially in this life, I can't believe what's going on today. If I look back 20 years or even 10 years, I'd never have imagined what's going on today to be going on today. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I go through my Twitter feed. I don't like Twitter. I really don't. Stupid name. I'm glad he changed it to X, but nobody calls it X, do they? But yeah, I look through that and I think, what's the world coming to? I've even put up a video. If you look in my playlists, you'll see it come on. I just can't stop laughing. It's ridiculous. The craziness that's going on today. I think, oh my goodness, what's the world coming to? You have to laugh at it. If you don't, bloody cry all the time. Well, most of the time I am crying. What's the world coming to? I was advised by somebody not to get too personal in my videos and not to reveal my private life, but who cares? don't care anymore. This is me. I'm on my own. I'm just living my life as it is. If my experiences help somebody else see the error of their ways, then fine. Go ahead and learn from my mistakes. Yeah, sometimes I do want to sit here and cry my eyes out, but then I think, yeah, it drains me anyway. Oh, oh dear. Sometimes I despair at the world, and then I see such wonderful things that people are doing, such kindnesses in the world, and such funny things. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Any kind of like video I'll put up in the future, if I do put any more up, then what I'll do is I'll put links below that make you laugh. Because that's what you need. Just laugh at this, what's going on, because it is ridiculous. Why are we even thinking about going this way? How on earth did we get to the situation where mums can sit with their children on their laps in a play school watching a bloody transvestite dancing around in their underwear? Ah! I can't even believe this is happening. I can't. I thought those transvestites were meant to be in clubs at night for, alcohol over 18s, oh my goodness. And where are the dads? Why aren't you standing up and saying, no, you're not going to take my child to this? Is this because of the dads have been stamped down, haven't they? No, you don't have to take it. Do it legally, don't get violent, don't get angry, just go through it logically. Just like that woman in Colchester. Oh, she's took on the council, and they learned through they everything that the council was proposing to bring in, they learned about it, and they went into these council meetings, stood up, had their 15 minutes or however many minutes there were, and when they first started doing it, they started talking about New World Order and all that crap. It's not crap, but in the council's eyes it was, okay, because we know it's a reality now. But the thing is, when they started talking about that, they were shut down and told not to talk. But now they've learned to tackle the council on the items that they've got on the list, and they do it in a way that is intelligent and proper and timed and balanced. Now, they've won, and they've taken over and stopped the council from doing certain things. And that woman, brilliant. Well, if I can find the link, I'll put it down below. But anyway, that is an example that we all need to do. This is why the council's been getting away with loads of stuff, because we don't tackle them. We don't tell them not to do these things. We don't. I mean, that one in Stirling, there was one in Stirling that the people who confronted the councillors started saying, we need these people to be executed. Now, that's not the way to go. Yeah, I agree. These people need to pay a penance, because they're disturbing people's lives and ruining it and taking it down an avenue that we'll never come back from. But that's not the way to tackle it. You have to be calm, balanced, intelligent and logical about these things. You cannot get emotional. You have to state the facts as they are. Go to your council meetings. Cut off the roots. Stop trimming the bloody hedges. Because that's not doing it. Growing again, isn't it? Get to the root of the matter. Anyway, Carl Vernon, interesting subject, interesting topic, and what he did in 4 minutes 54 seconds, I've taken a bloody half an hour to say. So, oh dear, yeah. If I sound bitter, fair enough. I do have regrets about my life, but I've learned an awful lot from them, and I did make the biggest error of my life. Say to God, you can test me. I test my love for you. And I did say that. And he fucking well did. He put me through the mill. I'm just hoping there's no more to come because I need to start giving out this knowledge and wisdom that I've learned. Wisdom. I don't know if it's wisdom. But I need to start giving it to others. I can't just sit here and wallow in it all the time now. I need to get my heart to do the work now. My heart and brain need to connect. My brain sometimes doesn't. I know! Some people have said that I'm an idiot and stupid and crazy. Yeah, I'm the crazy lady. So, I don't care what you think. I'll just block you if you're not very happy with me. Don't come and watch. It's too bad. You know, you've got your voice, I've got mine. So, I know that I live my life the way I can. I live within my means. And, you know, you just go through every day as... Look at every day as a gift. Maybe all of this is a bit muddled now. But it has been difficult. And I haven't wanted to do any more videos. That noise that keeps going off is my the heater keeps getting up to a certain degree and then it turns off, and it affects my PC because it's all connected to the same bloody plug. Anyway, the electricity in the van. Anyway, I do thank God for the life I have got. I'm able to feed myself. I've got a roof over my head. Not the one I want, but you make do with what you've got right now. I've got clothes on my back. This was a gift. Thank you very much, Carol, my new friend Carol. And yeah, I've got a little bit of money in the bank. It is whittling away though, but you know, through no fault of my own, trying to bloody well pay all these things. The government want you to pay all these things. How on earth you live in a bloody flat now? I can't even get on the council list. I can't. Oh, I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, yeah. Can't even rent a flat now. I can't even rent one. Anyway, yes. I'm going to say bye-bye now. I'm going to make another cup of tea and get on with the day. But yeah, sorry for taking so long, but I haven't had the incentive. I haven't had the will. I haven't had the, you know, I haven't had the time really. And every time I think about doing it, setting it all up, I think, oh, I can't be bothered. Where's the point? I'd rather be setting up a business. You know, it's hard to do that as it is. You just have to work through what you've got and appreciate what you have. Yeah, I am thankful for the gifts that I've got. And God does look after me. Thank you. Anyway, I'll say bye-bye for now, and I'll try not to take too long for the next one.